Hey trader, it's Roberto here again for another Pro Traders Workshop series video. Um, Oftentimes what I do, usually about 2 or 3 times a week, is when the markets are closed or when I'm not trading, I'll go back in history and see if it's purely just an exercise for me. I go back in history on a 1 hour chart. We're looking at the pound yen, and I start looking at price movement, and I look to see why is here price hits a level of resistance, consolidates and turns around and heads south. So I go back so I could just familiar myself with price action. Notice here we have an evening star. Price sells off for about what, 6 hours, retraces and then it goes back down again. So I want to know how just by looking at price, just looking, I have a Tilson 3 line and I just go back and try to find as many trades as I can and see if I can just spot these. Of course, in hindsight, it's easy, but here we have a bearish engulfing candle. Stochastics is overbought, so I'm always going back in history on several pairs. So I feel comfortable when I see something like this in real time, then most likely this is a trade to take. Okay. So I found that over the years, this has become really helpful because if you don't practice, if you don't go back in history, then it's really difficult to do this when markets are open and you're putting down real money on a trade and you want to have the highest possible um, po probability. Inside bar, market rallies, pulls back, goes back up. So I'm always looking at this, and I find myself talking to myself while I'm doing these exercises. So I hear a nice bullish engulfing candle. Why did this not continue to rally? It turned around and went south. So I look at these trade setups. So recently, what I've done in the past few months is that I added um, indicators that can help me, that would give me more confidence in trades that I take. So let me just give you an example of that. You just have to go back to the beginning of this 1 hour chart. So, okay, so this was Friday. Pound yen rallied, give us an inside bar, right? So this looks like technically, based on price action, this is a trade that we would take to the downside. Um, Using the 1 hour scalp system, I would use this inside bar. Price breaks below the inside bar. Notice the stochastics is overbought. So I would sell this at these levels. Now, um, I what I started doing is using the indicators that are on my website, which is the Jackhammer FX3 indicator, Golden Profit GoldenEye. And so I started having, for example, here's a trade, right, that I just discussed. That's an inside bar and price broke below. So I notice on the Jackhammer indicator that is giving me a resistance level. The FX3 indicator also giving me a resistance level. So I feel very comfortable taking this trade to the downside because there are just so many things that is pointing down. Stochastics overbought, right? Jackhammer, inside bar, price action. So this is a great exercise. So if you're not used to doing this, I would highly recommend just going back in history. Um, I've added these indicators. So I have confluence of indicators. I've got a lot of reasons why I should be selling at 141.60 on a Friday. And this trade went down quite a bit. I mean, I got out at 140 area right there. Okay, so let's look at some more trades because the more you do this, the more you go back in history, the easier it is to trade in real time because you familiarize yourself with price action. Um, well, there was a trade back here. Here it is. This is a Market rallied and what? Consolidated. So I'll go back. That is the August 21st. So let's see if there's something on August 21st on these indicators that would help me with this trade to the downside. And I mean, it didn't get all the way up to, I guess, this jackhammer. It's not going to show the jackhammer for past history. I figured that out because it keeps not repainting, but recalculating. So there it is right there. And the jackhammer did hit that level. And also the FX advisory indicator was giving us a sell signal. And of course, the Stochastics is overbought. So that is a what? Breakout trade for about how many hours? About 8 hours. Price just stalled out, and then all we needed was a candle to break below the support to take a trade. Now, if you see this 1,000 times, when you see it in live, it's easy to take the trade because you've done your homework. You know that, okay, this is called consolidation. And if we all we need is a candle to break below the support, stochastic is already overbought, so that would be a trade to take. And then I calculate how many pips price went down, all the way down to the previous support level. That's about 100, what, and 25 pips. So I know that's possible. I've seen this in the past, that I know if I see it in real time, there's a possibility that I'm going to make 100 pips to the downside. And I had the added indicators that can confirm that. Jackhammer, the FX Advisory in 3, they're all telling me the same thing. Okay, this FX Advisory 3 is giving me a sell signal, right? Um, the jackhammer also, and of course the Stochastics is overbought. So 3 or 4 reasons telling me the same thing. Okay, so let's go and find some more trades. Here's another trade on Euro Japanese yen. I'm looking at just price action alone. Okay, let me just show you how inside bar market, okay, rally started all the way down here, put in about 100 somewhat pips, and then what? Inside bar, which is a reversal candlestick pattern. And then normally you would take your trade on the next candle. And then I look to my left and I notice that the jackhammer is giving me a sell signal. Advisory indicators also giving me a sell signal. Stochastics is overbought. So I've got many reasons why I should be selling at this area of resistance. Okay. Now, oftentimes you look at a chart, you're not sure, are we going short or we going long? Um, Here, if you just, okay, let me just move this over. So if you're looking at this chart, and this is all you see the market's in a strong uptrend, and all of a sudden you see what? An inside bar, and you're thinking, should I be shorting at these levels? Well, you've got stochastics overbought, and just this chart alone, maybe it's not enough information, even though, yes, it worked out quite nicely. Well, I'm looking at the chart on the left on my NT4 platform. The jackhammer and the FX3 indicator are giving me sell signals. So this was a trade that I felt comfortably taking to the downside. And the stop loss is minimal because it's above, um, you're very close to the swing high. So even if you just took this trade down here, that's still only about a 30 pip stop loss. That trade worked out nicely, and I'll go part of my exercise that I count the number of pips from the entry to the support level. That's about 133 pips. Okay, so there you have it. Just going back in history, just looking at price action on a chart. I do this like 3 times a week, 15 minutes a day, just like I'm doing now, and just trying to find, looking at a chart and seeing why is price stalling out and then turning around and heading south. I mean, all I need to do is look at my chart on the left, and I can see that the jackhammer is essentially telling me that I should be selling. Okay, so that's giving me comfort knowing that these areas of support and resistance are valid. All you need to know is price action, candlestick patterns. Just like this trade that I took on Friday was what? We had an inside bar, which is a reversal candlestick pattern after a long run up. And then you take your trade on the next candle. And this is a huge move to the downside, but it's based on candlestick patterns, price action, last price action, and then using the indicators to confirm what you're seeing in price. I hope this is helpful. Um, we do have a trade room from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern every day, and you can join us. The first week is free if you purchase any of these indicators. Just go to the website fx-northwest.com. Live trade room hours 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. See you guys soon.